Okay folks, here we go. Post-Sideboard 8 games between Eldrazi Stomping and Blue Red Snake and Show. Very obvious inclusions. You take out clunky removals, maybe reshapers, because they're just not that exciting. This is not a value attrition battle. It's more about hindering the key turns, key cards, etc. I think I brought in Olmog and Dust, which might not be cool. Obviously took out Dismembers and GTs and took a couple of Reshapers. But I think perhaps I maybe should have kept the Reshapers in, because the Dust is maybe a little too cute. It doesn't get rid of Emrakul. That's been show and tell then, for instance. And well, that Ulamog is fine, but the key is to have the old Ulamog actually. Here it's not that exciting, because when they show something and then you bring in the old Ulamog, you get to annihilate 4, and that might actually spell some trouble for them. Especially if it's just Grizzlebrand. If they show in Emrakul, then yeah, they might just keep that soul card on board and then basically annihilate you back. But yeah, nowadays with Painter Servant decks kind of not being quite a thing, the old Olmog is only really relevant in Legacy for this matchup pretty much. But it's still quite prominent matchup to a deck that's probably sees currently more played than Eldrazi's actually. So yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. Some builds don't have Warping Wheels main deck. I like at least 2 main, with a third moving around main and sideboard sometimes. Not exactly sure what he brings in. Some kind of way to not die too quickly, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure what matters, or what they usually have. Well, some ways to destroy artifacts, for instance. That's one thing. Well, here's an Ivugan, and here's a Mimic and Endless 1 for 2. Not a bad turn 1 start. He decided to not proc the Storm yet. Well, he might do that, but it does kind of seem that he doesn't have a second land here. So he might go for Petal Storm and then crack the fetch, something like that. It is a thing after all. Or he could just drop the Petal and pass. That's also a thing. He can wait a turn, I feel like. He didn't actually force either creature here, so that's kind of weird. Okay, so he did actually proc that fetch now to Storm. So yeah, I think that's actually my end step. I feel like that's my end step. Because I believe he started, yeah. I believe he started this game. That's another Lotus Petal. Let's show and the preordain that he drew from those three. Okay, so putting preordain first or something like that. Ah, no, that was actually on his first turn. So I somehow started. Maybe because we alternated or something, I don't know. Covering for Eldrazi's Reshaper, Mimic becomes a 3/2, so smacking for 5. Petal show. Then what? Emrakul in, and I have Ulamog in, and he scoops up in panic because he just doesn't realize that it's the new one, which doesn't actually matter. But if that would have been the old one, then definitely he should have screamed in panic and run around and escape. But it was just a new one, so it doesn't actually spell game over. He later realizes that, but it's too late. He just wants to read it once more and to realize that it's no threat really. Yeah, that he shouldn't have scooped there actually. But yeah. Overall, the new one is actually better. But in this matchup, the old one is better. And if you are up against the attentive pilot with Sneak and Show, then yeah, he might not actually just scoop in such a quick panic fashion. Right, we shuffle up for the next game, even though this shouldn't have been this fast. I'm not exactly sure how it will actually turn out. I might even lose. Because, well, if I attack, he just hits the Ulamog, basically. I still get the trigger, but that's not a big deal. And then, on his attack back... Oh, he basically eats my board. So, that's not amazing. I must tell you. Yeah. So this is why actually paying my teammate to return me back my old Ulamog. I wanted to give it to him, like, so that he can trade some stuff for himself, but now it seems like I had to. Okay, City on turn 1 on the play for me for Chalice for 1. That could bite me. He doesn't run Wastelands, but this is kind of crazy. Into turn 2 Footnotes here that he forces. Pitching Ponder. Yeah, why not? Why not? Grabs the Volcanic with a fetch. So what is his plan here? He cannot cast 1-drop cantrips? Okay. So he's actually gonna try to go for it. With Ancient Tomb and okay, Splasher from my side and an Emrakul from him, and that's a scoop for me. As easy as that. He got to force my... Yeah, so basically if it was another Soul Land, like another Cedar of Traders instead of Ivogan, I would have had Warping Wheel to try to counter that show and tell. And he did have another Force Wheel, but no blue card to pitch for it, so it would have worked. So yeah, it's just a matter of like what lands I had available. Yeah, Warping Whale would have stopped this, and then the game continues, and then who knows who's gonna win. So, on to the next one we go, just because Alvogen doesn't really produce mana. If it would have been another city or Ancient Tomb, then yeah, this would have still been a game. For quite some time, perhaps, but otherwise, no. Alrighty then. Next game it is. Seems like he's actually considering siding out Blood Moons. Is that an Abrade? I think that's an Abrade. Okay, no, I think he just changed his mind. Yeah, I think like moons are actually quite alright. Not sure if how many copies I would want in this matchup. Though, perhaps he just sided in one. But I'm quite sure that he has more than one in the sideboard. And Abrade is actually rather cool too, because yeah, it does destroy Chalice, for instance. In the meantime, it can kill some of the creatures early. Who would have thought? Well, I guess Abrade was designed in such a way that it will be useful outside of standard, I imagine. Right, so basically any fast draw is good. Any slow action with some disruption is good. Basically I need Chalice or Torrent in the starting hands, or just super aggressive draw, so that if he stumbles a little, I can punish him for that. Okay, he starts off with a Ponder, that's fine. Not sure what I'm supposed to start off with here. I didn't quite catch the cards he looked at. Seems like he was kind of happy with them. Yeah, seems like it's just a safer idea. Plus he decided to force it. Pitching Ponder, what's actually interesting. I know he has Storm in hand and a Sneak. At least maybe one more land. Okay, 4 mana. Hoping to land something like a Thought-Knot Seer that could be very timely. He does have Storm, so he could actually simply hide away all the good stuff. He decides to fetch first, which is interesting. So apparently he only likes his first card off of Ponder, or something like that, or only 2 out of 3. Yeah, that's probably how it works. So here's a Storm. Sees another Sneak. Spell Pierce? Is that it? He doesn't have any fatties though. Or does he? I think no. He does have Grizzlebrand in that mix. I see it. So he's probably thinking like to put like something like a Spell Pierce on top, because he needs to sequence it correctly because of like Sneak Attack, which is a turn 4 thing. Because I think he has Ancient Tomb as well already. Yeah, he's just figuring out the sequence because of the fetches. But he doesn't have to fetch next turn, for instance. So yeah, I have to take one of the sneaks. He might actually decide to play one next turn. No, he can't. Because he just has 2 islands in here. Right, he just passed the turn. But I have to think that he has it sort of set up. But I don't think I can do a whole lot here about that. So here's a chalice for 1 that gets spell pierced. Which is kinda weird. Line of play. But I guess he might as well do that. Problem is, if I would then say cast Thorn of Amethyst, that means he can't next turn go for sneak and use it. So that's a thing. But I didn't hit another land, sadly. Was that a thing? I think I must have had another land. But that was probably like Ivogan, and I think this is why I messed up this game. Because if I would have gone I first, then my turns would have been probably much more productive overall. More risky though, because I wouldn't have early disruption. Okay, attack with the Seer. I will lose my city, but I get to wasteland the tomb. Basically buy myself as much time as possible. He's already down to 10. Fetch puts him down to 9. Okay, he storms. He storms. Finds a city of traders of his own. So something in Blood Moon up to top. Fetch is the volcanic. So he's kind of like ready to go next turn. What was it? I know he still needed like a Lotus Petal actually this turn. No, so now he just cast the snake right off of the City of Traders. So he's basically ready next turn, unless I do something. Like draw Caracas, for instance. Well, I did not. Here is just an Ancient Tomb. Well, here's a Ponder that I whale. But he does have Grizzlebrand in hand. That's mildly annoying. And he can sneak it in on my turn. To not take that much of damage. I think that's a fine idea. Okay, he sneaks it in at was it my end? I know, he actually does that on his turn. So essentially staying at 3. Digging for some continuation. Doesn't seem like he finds it in the top 7. Doesn't seem like he finds anything yet. Actually, that looks like a slow roll. We're just discussing land positioning here. Okay, he kind of goes for something. Oh, here's a Blood Moon, right. And a Petal. Griselbrand gets sacrificed at his end of turn. Yeah, I'm just left with the mountain and the potential mountain. So yeah, that kind of messed it up. And I can be probably certain that that Petal means Griselbrand during my turn. I mean, one can dream. One can dream. Yeah, and here it is, and that's pretty much game at this point. Rather crazy one. But then again, the game is not exactly over because he will have to sacrifice it, so he would still need to find another big dude. I was just trying to show him that like there was a chance for me for lethal if not for Bloodbond, but then actually it wasn't guaranteed lethal. Because he'd gain 7, eat a guy, etc. Like extra seer that would grow the Mimic on board. That wouldn't have been enough. Well, Smasher could have been actually enough. Maybe. 5-9, nah. Not really nice. Oh wait, 10-14. He was at, well, 10. So yeah, still not lethal. Now it's almost guaranteed, I think. Though some people still missed in this situation. Okay, here's a show. Here's about to be omniscience. And what is coming up? An Emrakul that's getting cast. So you know what's gonna happen next, folks. Well, extra turn, and I have exactly 6 permanents. So, yep. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe or check the links in the description below. Think upcoming matchups against Eldrazi Stumpy would be Elves. Then the hybrid Dredge / Pox deck with a lot of cool stuff in it. And few hours and some more legacy in the future. Though there is a chance that I would go for more modern and standard, but we shall see. I think I would be mostly reviewing some decks for different formats in articles form and like short video overview forms. Okay, so he actually brought 2 moons and then a braid at least. And 3 moons. Oh, that's not naughty. Alrighty, until the next sale, good luck in your next tournaments. See you in May. Ciao.